Hello and welcome to this video all about Pythagoras. So in this video we're going to look at the Pythagorean theorem. So this was devised by Pythagoras, and I put this little picture in because this kind of nicely illustrates what it is. So this was developed by a Greek mathematician called Pythagoras, and he realized that on right angled triangles, if you square each of the two shorter sides, add them together, and then square root the answer to this, that will tell you the length of the longest side, which is known as the hypotenuse. And you can see this quite nicely with this diagram here. So we've got this side that's 6 meters there, we've got this side that's 8 meters here. So 6 times 6 gives you 36 just there, so we've got this square to illustrate that. And then 8 squared is 64 here. Well, if you add 64 and 36 together, you get 100. And then if you square root that, you will get 10. So the length of this side has got to be 10. And he found that this was the case with every single right angled triangle. And he devised his theorem to prove this. Okay, so like I just said, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. But the general thing I tell to students is this. I tell them in these 3 steps. So square your numbers, add them together and square root. And that will always tell you the longest side, which, as I said, is known as the hypotenuse. Now, the hypotenuse, as I've just mentioned, is the one that's always opposite the right angle. So we're going to find the longest side of the hypotenuse on this triangle here, which is this x. And that's the one that's opposite the right angle. So it does not form the right angle, it's opposite it. So I'd like you to have a go trying to find x on this triangle now. So if you pause your video, have a go, and then I'll go through the answer. Okay, let's have a look. Let's have a look at this then. So we've got 9 squared add 3 squared here. So that's 81 add 9. That gives you 90. So that's your c squared. If you then square root this, you get 9.486832. And then rounded to 2 decimal places, this would be 9.49 on that one. Okay, here's another hypotenuse question for you. So this side is referred to as AC. So pause your video, have a go. Let's take a look then. So if we do 4.8 squared add 3.6 squared, that gives us 36. And quite a nice one, this one, because the square root of 36 is just a nice round 6 on that one. So a nice round whole number answer for this particular question. Okay, so a reminder again, Pythagoras' theorem is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Now we've looked at the first 2 examples of how to find the hypotenuse, how to find the longest side, but some questions might ask you to find the shorter side. So I'm going to draw your attention to this here. So when you're finding the shorter side, the only difference is you square both of your sides, both of the sides that you know, and instead of adding them, you subtract them on this second step, and that's the only thing that's different. So you subtract, and then the final step is the same, and you square root. Let's try this out then. So I want you to find the length of BC on this triangle. We already know the hypotenuse here, as you can see, and then the side that's opposite your hypotenuse there is 6 centimeters. Okay, so first of all, we do 14 squared, take away 6 squared, which is 160, square root that, and we get 12.64911 to 5 decimal places. The question, I did actually to do it to 1 decimal place, so that was 12.6 to 1 decimal place there. The next one then, I'd like you to find the length of AB on this triangle. Okay, so if we do our subtraction first, so 17.55 squared minus 6.75 squared, we get 262.44. And if you then square root that, you'll get 16.2 centimetres. Okay, so now I'm going to just show you a slightly more complicated example. So those first 4 questions we looked at just gave you a triangle, and you just had to basically do it from a right angle triangle. But we do get sometimes Pythagoras questions like this, where you've got to apply Pythagoras, but it might not be obvious how to apply it. So pause your video, see if you can have a go first, then I'll go through it. Okay, so we've got this isosceles triangle here. So we know that this side is 10 centimeters as well. But the issue we've got here, we're trying to find this perpendicular height, but we haven't got any right angles here. So what we're going to do is split this triangle. So we're from point A down here. So we've then got 2 right angle triangles, because we'll have a right angle on this side and a right angle on this side. So what we're essentially doing is splitting the base in half. So this side will be 4 centimeters. So we now have a triangle that is essentially like this. Sorry, I'm just drawing it roughly with my graphics tablet. So we've got a right angle here, we've got 10 here, and we've got 4 here. So now we have a right angle triangle which we can use to use Pythagoras on. So we know the hypotenuse on this one here, because this 10 centimeters is opposite the right angle, so that's got to be the hypotenuse. So we're going to have to use subtract to do this one. So if we do 10 squared minus 4 squared, we will get 84. And if we square root that, we get 9.17. And the question did ask you to do it to 3 significant figures. So the number you have on your calculator screen, rounded to 3 significant figures, should be 9.17. Okay, question 6 then. We've got a ladder that reaches 2.5 meters up a vertical wall. The base of the ladder is 70 centimeters from the base of the wall on a horizontal ground. I want you to find the length of the ladder. Okay, so we've got a little diagram here to illustrate this. So the question said that the ladder was 2.5 meters from the base of the wall, so that's 250 centimeters. So I've written 250 here, and it was 70 centimeters horizontally from the base of the wall. So the vertical height was 250. The distance from the edge of the wall along the base was 70 centimeters. So we can now use this to work out how long the ladder is. So 70 squared at 250 squared gives you 67,400. If we square root that, we get 259.615. So the nearest whole centimetre, that is going to be 260 centimetres. So your ladder is 260 centimetres long. And that brings us to the end of our video now. So thank you very much for listening. Please keep checking back on our channel, hit subscribe. There'll be loads more videos coming your way. Bye bye.